Hello and welcome to Digital Information Technology at Melbourne High School. My name is Jake Schweich and I will be doing a quick presentation for my e-learners. There is a lot of information, but I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. So if there's something that's unclear, please contact me. You can email me directly and I'll do my best to clarify anything for you. So the course description, this is a basic overview of current business and information system trends with an emphasis on developing fundamental computer skills, and particularly we're looking at Microsoft Office Specialist Word 2016. The final for this course is a certification exam in Microsoft Office 2016, Word 2016. An optional certification for you is to get the entire Microsoft Office Specialist bundle, which is Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Also, if you finish up those, we have available to you the Microsoft Technology Associate, or MTA, and Windows Operating System Fundamentals. The classroom format we're going to use is called a blended learning model. And for those e-learners, you'll participate mostly just in the online part of that. We will use Microsoft Teams, which, if you're familiar with Google Classroom, it's the Microsoft version of the Google Classrooms. We will also use a training platform called testout.com. If you are not familiar with Microsoft Teams, you can access Teams directly from your Launchpad. So just go log into your BPS Launchpad, and then you're going to look for the Teams icon on your Launchpad that will look like this. Once you get into Teams for Digital Information Technology, you're going to look for the Word icon and the team called Digital Info Tech. I don't have a lot of rules in my classroom. I pretty much stick to 3, and that is I will respect my school, faculty, and staff. I will respect my fellow learners, and I will do my best. I find that anything that goes wrong in the classroom is a violation or one or more of these rules, and we typically handle those as we go. With the e-learners, I anticipate that there's probably not going to be a lot of issues, just simply because we won't be spending time in the same physical space. But if we do have problems, understand that I always go back to these 3 basic rules. The grading scale for this class is the typical grading scale at Mel High, the 10-point increments from A through D, and anything less than a 59 is a F. For grading, you will be graded on your daily check-ins. You'll do your daily check-ins on a Microsoft form, and it must be completed in the first 10 minutes of every school day. Each of the check-ins will be worth 1 point. You'll also complete a weekly checkout. And this will be a Flipgrid recording that you need to finish by 11:59 p.m. on the Sunday at the end of each week. I suggest that you don't wait until the very end. The last thing that you want to do is at 11:59 p.m. or 11:58 p.m. trying to record your weekly checkout and have it not go through in time. I give you a little bit of time, so that way if there's something special about your schedule, it can accommodate that. But my suggestion would be, as soon as you finish your learning portion for my course on Friday, or whatever the last day of that week happens to be, my suggestion would be is right then and there, go ahead and just pop open that Flipgrid and do that weekly checkout, because it's basically just a summarization of how the week went for you. And so if you do that right away at the end of your learning session, it'll give you the best possibility of capturing anything that happened, as well as any thoughts that you want to give me leading into the next week. And each of those weekly checkouts is worth 5 points. Obviously, because of the timeliness nature of these are assignments that cannot be made up later. So please make sure that you're doing your daily check-ins every day and your weekly checkout every week. After that, we will have test out sections. As I said, we'll be using a platform called Test Out. And in that, there's chapters and sections, and each section in Test Out is worth 10 points. Now, one of the things that we found in using Test Out over the summer is that the students that actually watched the videos and listened to them did much better on the tests and the certification exam than the students that didn't. And because of that, I'm making half of the points received for the section applicable for just watching the videos. So if you go into the section and you just watch the videos all the way through, that's worth half of all the points that you'll get for that section. And then you'll get 2 points for completing all available labs, and 2 points for completing the concept question quiz, and 1 point for finishing on time. The end of chapter exam, at the end of each of the chapters, which usually comprises several sections, you'll have an exam, and it's a very simple test that will take you through some of the concepts you learned in that, and each of those will be worth 50 points. As I mentioned earlier, the final for this course is actually the Microsoft Office Specialist Word 2016 certification exam. This is a real industry certification. If you pass this certification, you get a certificate and a digital badge that you can put on a resume that you can take with you out into the real world. You do need to make at least one attempt at this certification exam. You have a maximum of 3 attempts. A passing score for the certification exam is 700 out of 1,000. So if you score a 700 or better, you're going to get the certification, and I will count that as an A, a full A at 100% in the gradebook. Any other scores will be scored as a percentage plus 20 percentage points. So just to explain what that means, so let's say that you get a 600 out of 1,000 on the test. That would be a 60%. So that 60%, we're going to add 20 percentage points to that. So in the gradebook, that 60 would become an 80. Something that I want you to notice is that all certification exams, including the minimum 1 attempt, must be taken on site here at Mel High. And this is even for e-learners. Now, this is not my rule. This is not a Mel High rule. This is something that has come from the Florida Department of Education. And this is because these certifications are tied to funding. And the only way that we can be 100% sure that you are taking that certification exam is to have you here on campus. Now, to preserve the social distancing and the efforts that you're making by being an e-learner, we will schedule these on special days. So like a early release Friday, we'll have you come in when all of the other students have left and we've had a chance to adequately sanitize the room. But do know that you will have to come onto campus at least one time, or decide to forfeit the 200 points for that test. As far as the grading goes, there may be additional assignments and projects that I will assign as needed, either for support or for extension or for assessment reasons. And I will give point totals for those as they're assigned. All assignments are due by the end of class time on the deadline. So if I tell you that section 3.05 is due on September 5th, whatever time our class period ends on September 5th, you have to have that section finished or it's late. Now, late assignments, not only if you turn it in late, not only would you lose the 1 point for that section, but I also, at my discretion, hold the right to count that entire section at half credit. So let's say that you get the entire section in. When you finish it, it's completely right, but you turned it in late. At that point, I have the right to mark it at 5 points rather than 10 points. Also, late work will only be accepted in the grading period it was assigned. Because we are doing a block schedule, that means that you will finish a semester every 9 weeks and a year-long course every semester. Because of this, I will be putting in grades for your report card at the 9-week mark. I really don't want to have to go back and make changes. So all of the assignments that are given in the first 9 weeks will be due in that first 9 weeks. And I will give you a deadline for any late assignments and when they have to be turned in. And then the assignments that are given for the second 9 weeks will be due before the end of this semester. And if you turn in something after that deadline, I reserve the right to not give any credit for it. You will, and don't worry. I will give you plenty of notice on that. And obviously, the best thing to do is to just make sure you don't get behind on your. All e-learners are expected to work synchronously. And what that means is, unlike some of the distance learning that we did in the spring or like an online class through Brevard Virtual School, you are required to be working on my class material during my class. So if you're scheduled for my 8:40 class, at 8:40 in the morning, you need to log on to your computer and begin working on our class content. So I expect that you log in and begin at the beginning of our class time and complete your daily check-in within the first 10 minutes. And as I'll cover a little bit later, that daily check-in has to be completed in the first 10 minutes or you will be counted absent from my class for that day. I also expect that you complete tasks by the assigned deadline. If I'm giving you a certain, if I ask you to finish a section on Monday, I'm going to want to see that you have finished that section by the end of our class period on Monday. Now, obviously, I'll give some grace, but if we find that you're starting to have problems getting those assignments in, then I'm going to hold you very firmly to that expectation. I also expect that you keep up to date on the lesson plans and the deadlines that I've put out there. Those will be listed both on Focus and in Microsoft Teams. An absence. As I said before, you will be counted absent from my class if you do not complete the daily check-in within the first 10 minutes of class each day. Now, I want you to understand that if you cannot go in on Monday and complete 5 daily check-ins for the week and then just blow off the check-ins for the rest of the week. As I said before, if you are scheduled for my 8:40 class, you have from 8:40 Monday morning to 8:50 Monday morning to complete that daily check-in. And all of these will have timestamps on them, so I'll know if you completed them in that 10-minute period. If you completed it too early, or you completed it too late, it will not count as being present in my class. Now, I do understand that there can be circumstances that come up. We have technology issues and there's other things that go on. If you are unable to complete that daily check-in in that 10-minute period, you need to contact me right away. I need an email. I need you to contact me through Teams, whatever it is, but you need to let me know why you were not able to complete the check-in, and that way I can assess if you should be considered absent or present for my class. Also, if you are absent, you are responsible for any and all work missed due to an absence. And if your absence was unplanned, you will have the days absent plus 1 to make up work. So let's say that for some reason you are not able to complete your classwork on Thursday and Friday. When you come back and pick up your coursework on Monday, you will have 3 days to catch up from Thursday and Friday, because that would be the 2 days that you were absent plus 1. Necessary supplies. As an e-learner, you're going to need a computer at home, and this will need to be a PC, a Mac, or a Chromebook. Thankfully, the platform that we use, TestOut, works across all of those platforms. I will tell you that you can use a phone or a tablet to watch the videos on TestOut, but you cannot do the labs or the tests on a phone or a tablet. You will need a PC, a Mac, or a Chromebook. And then also a $10 supply fee. I know for e-learners this may be difficult to get in, but this class does require additional supplies and other things that we use specifically for this course, and so we do have a $10 supply fee for this. So you can mail that in, you can drop it off at the front office and just put in the memo line, my last name, Schweich, and then your student name and supply fee, and we can make sure that gets that gets accounted for your supply fee. Discipline. I don't anticipate there being a lot of problems with my e-learners, but just know that the discipline ladder for a classroom is that the first time that there's a problem, I give a warning. The second time there's a problem, I will contact your parent, and that could result in a loss of certain class privileges. And then the third time that we have a problem would be a discipline referral. Suggestions for success. If you want to be successful in this class, it is not a hard class. It just requires that you put in the work. And so I suggest that you attend class every day and be on time. Reflect on what you learn each day. Even if it's just you take the last 5 or 10 minutes of our class time and just really briefly think about the things that you learned, the concepts you learned, the topics that we covered. Studies have shown that that's a great way to retain the information. Keep up to date on assignments. As I said, it's so much easier if you just do the assignments as we go along, as opposed to waiting at the last minute to try to get all of them in. Ask and answer questions in class, and if you need help, please ask. I don't mind helping, but I can't help if I don't know. Also, I believe that it's important that high school students learn how to communicate with adults and advocate for themselves. So I encourage you to communicate with me directly when you have questions or concerns. A high school student is, some of you already have reached the age of adulthood, and the rest of you are getting very close to that. And as part of this class, I want to help you learn how to communicate maturely and advocate for yourself. So if you have a problem in my class, I'm going to need you to contact me directly, either a phone call outside of my normal class periods or an email. And I will tell you right now that if your parent contacts me, that yes, they are your legal guardian, and I will have a discussion with them about what's going on. But any corrections, any changes that are going to be made will require you to have a conversation with me first. If you do need to email me, my email is schweich.jacob@brevardschools.org, and I know that last name can be difficult to spell, so it's Schweich. Take note of that. You can also contact me through Focus, and as I said, welcome to the Digital Information Technology course. I personally think this is a really great course that teaches you a lot of things that you will absolutely use in the real world. And so I look forward to getting to know you. If you have any questions, reach out to me as soon as possible.